Shalawam, and welcome back to The Hidden Chosen. I am Hadassah Saiwan, and here we are with a brand new study called Prophetic Dreams and Visions, and this is part one. And the question is, are you a dreamer? You know, there's so many people that claim that they have all these dreams and visions, and they assume that all these dreams and visions come from the Most High when we look at the evidence of what they have dreamt or the vision that they had, we realize with certainty that the source of their dreams and visions did not come from the Most High. Excuse me. Now, we're seeing a lot of this amongst the Christian people, the online folks that have their various channels, or they're on social media and they are given dreams and visions that they have had. They're given the interpretations of them and claiming that they're from the Most High and they're messages from the Most High to help them to understand and to know when their rapture is about to take place. All right. Now, I don't know if you have been following along. Excuse me, I'm going to have to clear my throat. Sorry. I don't know if you've been following along and seeing exactly what's been happening, but there was this particular person who claimed he had a vision of the Son of the Most High, and he told him that the rapture was going to take place on September 23rd and 24th of this year. And he said with 1,000,000,000% surety it will happen. While we are now in November, this is the ending of November going into December, and it hasn't happened. This vision that he had did not come to pass. And there were many people who believed, many people who thought that yes, this is the truth. This man is a man of what they would call him God. And he did actually have this vision. Now, when that date came and nothing happened, then they started looking at other calendars and said, well, we're off by 1 month. So September is not really the seventh month, and so on and so forth. Even all the way down now to the month of November, they're still claiming September 23rd, 24th never happened. Hasn't happened yet. And this is because they were deceived into thinking that this original vision that this man had came from the Most High when it didn't. Clearly, it did not. And anyone who opposed this vision and this man were called mockers and scoffers. Right? So that I have always wanted to take a look at dreams and visions because I know we all have them. And we have to know why we're having dreams and visions and to know the source of these dreams and visions. The devil can and will give us dreams and visions. He can. All right? So you need to know the source. If you don't know the source, then you know what? You're going to be deceived. All right? And the Heavenly Father does not want us to be deceived. He wants us to know the truth because the truth does what? It sets us free. All right? So this is the reason why I'm taking the time now to look in detail at dreams and visions. And so we will take a nice long look and see the dreams and visions of our forefathers and even of certain Gentiles, because they had visions and dreams, and see the difference between what they had back then and what we're having today. All right. Dreams and visions have been a fascination for many people, whether the people of Alahayam or Gentiles. So here's the thing, a lot of Gentiles that are in pagan religions, they can experience visions and dreams. They can use certain psychedelic drugs that help enhance that vision or that dream. But that does not mean it is coming from the Most High. It is them connecting with their evil spirits, whoever is guiding them, whoever is speaking to them. All right? The reason why it is the mystery surrounding how we dream. So there's a reason why we're all fascinated about dreams and visions, because of the mystery surrounding how we dream and or have visions. Why we are having dreams and or visions, and what are the meanings behind our dreams and visions. That's the most important thing, because it is something that we really don't have a control on. However, depending on what you've been thinking on, praying for, you have great desire for, it can manifest itself in your dreams. All right? Don't think the devils aren't sitting around listening to what you're saying, what you've been praying for, what you've been hoping for, what you've been talking incessantly about. They can cause it to manifest in your dreams. The very first thing that we need to do is to know this. Sorry, let me read that again. The very first thing that we need to know is this. There are two sources from which we can receive dreams and visions. The first source is from the enemy, which will render these dreams null and void, even if they seem real and important. The other source is Alahayam, he is the Most High, which will render these dreams and visions to be prophetic. Why? Because they come from him. They're coming from him. And anything coming from him goes into the prophetic realm, because we're connected to him. We're connecting, our spirits are connecting to him in his realm. That's what makes it prophetic. Now, it doesn't mean that we are prophets. It just makes the experience prophetic. There are no gray areas when it comes to dreams and visions. They are either of the enemy or of Alahayam. Okay? There is no gray area in between, either from the devils themselves or from the Most High. To tell the difference between dreams and visions from Alahayam and dreams and those from the enemy, dreams and visions from the enemy, we have to look at the context of these dreams and visions. That's what we need to do. Just because you were thinking about it and praying about it and you had a dream or you had a vision does not mean that it's coming from the Most High. Right? A lot of people, they wanted confirmation in a dream about the rapture. Of course they got the confirmations. All right? They got the confirmations, but where did the confirmations come from? All right. I would say to pray and ask Roach HaQadash if he sent them. Now, this is to find out if they're from him. But the enemy can also imitate Roach HaQadash. Oh, yes, he does. To lead many to believe a lie. And this is what has been happening amongst the Christian community. Many people believe in that vision by that person that called themselves a prophet. In fact, there were several of them that had visions that claim the rapture was going to take place September 23rd and the 24th. Now, I don't know why two dates, but that's what they said. And their confirmations came to confirm this lie. So, who do you think the confirmations came from? Even the thousands of people, they claim, oh, yeah, even children had confirmations, even children had dreams, even children did this. So now they're taking word from a child. Just because a child had a dream or a vision does not mean that it came from the Most High. They're sitting around listening to you talking about this rapture, and you're getting all excited. And that's the only thing you're talking about. Obviously, that child will absorb everything that you're saying. And then what happened? What do you think will happen? Then they too will get all caught up in this deception. But they claim that the children having visions were sure confirmations that this rapture was going to take place since September. All right, let's read on. The word of Alahayam will never lie. And so when we line up our dreams and visions with the word of Alahayam, and there are no parallels, but only contradictions, then we know for certainty that they are from the enemy. Yahweh will never contradict himself. And so if he sent you a dream or a vision, not only will it come to pass, but it will also lead you to his word, where you will gain more confirmation that they came from him. Right? The Heavenly Father does not bring confusion. His word does not bring us to confusion. When he gives us a dream, when he gives us a vision, will not lead us to confusion. No, it's supposed to bring us to clarity of his word. It will connect us to his word to give us more clarity about what he is saying. But when it starts to contradict and have conflict with his word, then we know it is not from him. All right? Yahweh will never, sorry, I read that already. The confirmation is not merely to convince you that they came from him, meaning the dreams and visions came from him, but the dream and or vision will be embellished by his word, meaning whatever you have dreamt, whatever you saw in your vision will be endorsed by his word. All right? Let me read from here. Providing you a teachable moment which will help you to grow in faith and more in love with him. So the confirmation is not merely to convince you that they came from him, but the dream and or vision will be embellished by his word, providing you a teachable moment which will help you to grow in faith and more in love with him. That's the whole point of him giving us dreams and visions. Now, a lot of people think that because they're having dreams and visions, it makes them into a prophet or a prophetess. No, it is not. That's not what it means, because they're the Heavenly Father does not need prophets and prophetesses anymore. All right? All that he needed to say to us has been spoken through his prophets of old. All we are waiting for are the confirmations. All we're waiting for are the fulfillment of that word. Okay? That's what we're waiting for. Let's look at the book of Job, chapter 7, verse 13. When I say my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me through visions. Hear what Job said? Yawab. He said, "You scare me with dreams and terrify me through visions." And yet, all these people are having all these simple, simple dreams and simple visions and claiming, oh, they're from the Most High, and just treat them casually, right? When He gives you a dream, a profound dream and profound vision, then there's something in you that is awakening. It is not to frighten you in a sense where you become fearful, but it brings you to your knees. Now, the thing about dreams, and I'm going to get into this in a little while, is that sometimes what we are experiencing called dreams are actually our brains downloading and filing away events that had taken place that entire day. No, you're sleeping. No, you're resting. Your brain, which is like a hard drive, needs to sort out what has been going on, what had gone on that day. And then you have all these different images and all these different things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is a message. It doesn't always have to be a message. When it is a message, the Most High Himself will let you know, hey, remember that dream that I showed you? Remember that vision that I showed you? And then He will bring it right back to you. And not only will He bring it back to you, He will also give you the interpretation of it. All right? Although not all dreams and visions scare or terrify, but for the most part, most of the time, they do bring these intense feelings. When you get a dream from the Most High or a vision, it impacts you. It seriously impacts you. Why? Because you're now connecting to Him, and He of Himself, His presence in our life, even in our dreams and in our visions, it impacts us. Okay? There are many people today calling themselves prophets and prophetesses, having dreams and visions and confirmations from random things like a license plate, or clouds shaped in a peculiar way, or particular numbers seen on digital clocks and other places where numbers are located, or by studying the stars. All these means of getting confirmations are not from Alahayam, but from the enemy, as he can and will cause these coincidences of seeing these confirmations to appear as divine. This is the pagans' way of confirming their dreams and visions through physical means. You look at a license plate, or you see the clothes looking a certain way, and this is what a lot of the people in the Christian community were doing for September 23rd, 24th rapture, so-called rapture event. Suddenly everything was a confirmation. Everything was a confirmation. And that is not the way how the Most High works. Read the Bible for yourself. All right. It is His way of keeping people in His delusion, talking about the enemy, steering them away from the word of Alahayam, steering them away from Him, the Most High. True confirmations will come from Roach HaQadash, who will lead us to His word, and there, without twisting scriptures into a pretzel to make it mean what they want it to mean, but rather the confirmation will come from the revelation of His word called truth, which will confirm that prophetic dream and or vision. So let me read that again. True confirmations will come from Roach HaQadash, who would lead us to His word. He would lead us there without twisting the scriptures into a pretzel to make it mean what we want it to mean, what we desire it to mean. When he gives us the meaning of his scripture, it is what he wants it to mean. It is his interpretation. But what we have been doing, what a lot of people have been doing, is taking the scriptures out of context so that they can manipulate it to make it seem that it match what they are seeing in their dreams and their visions. All right? But rather, the confirmation will come from the revelation of his word called the truth, which will confirm that prophetic dream and our vision. And that's how it goes. When we look at dreams, we'll notice that there are two kinds of dreams. One type is that of symbolisms, while the other is that of a night vision, meaning having a vision while you're sleeping in the night. And that can happen. You can have a nighttime vision, and you can also have daytime vision. We'll look at daytime visions in the next two studies, okay? Right now we're looking at dreams. So we have the dreams where we have all these different symbolisms, which most of us have, and then we have night visions, okay? But let us understand what dreams are in the first place in order to understand what these both types of dreams are. Everyone dreams, even though there will be some people who will say that they do not dream because they don't remember it. They say, well, I don't remember my dream, so therefore I don't dream. But this is not true. What is true is that a person does not remember what they had dreamt, as by morning those images are wiped out of their memories, leading them to believe that they did not dream. I've known so many people that tell me, no, I don't dream. I say, of course you dream. We all have to dream, right? But whether the dreams are from Alahayam or our brains just sorting out the event or events of the day that we have just finished is another thing. All right? Dreaming occurs when we enter into REM cycle of sleep. REM is rapid eye movement, and this occurs after entering stage 4 of sleeping. REM sleep is the deepest part of your sleep where your brain will begin to process all that you had experienced that day. So imagine these people, these rapture, hopeful people, all they're thinking about, all they're talking about is the rapture. When they put their heads on the pillow now, what do you think their brain is going to start processing while they're sleeping? About the rapture. All right? It's going to be all about the rapture. They're going to have their dreams about the rapture. They're going to have the confirmations that they've been praying about concerning the rapture, all these different things. Because that's all they've been thinking about during the day. All right? Without getting into the deep knowledge of REM sleep cycle, one thing that we need to know is that dreaming takes place during REM sleep cycle. So there are 4 stages before you hit REM sleep cycle, rapid eye movement. When you hit that deep sleep, that's when your brain starts to file things away, discard things that it doesn't want. And that's when you start to see images. You start to think, you start to dream. It's all part of your brain organizing itself. Okay? And then the Most High, he can, during this time, during REM sleep, give us dreams and night visions. It is during this time that our muscles are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out our dreams, although some people will act out part of their dream, as in sleepwalking or shouting or laughing. Therefore, What we are thinking of during the day, hoping and longing for to happen, can occur in a dream. And this is where the enemy can prey upon people due to their daytime longings. Oh, I long to go in the rapture. I can't wait to get off this miserable earth. And that's all I want. That's all I care about. And so you go to sleep, and guess what you're going to be dreaming of? All right. However, when Alahayam gives us a dream, it is not to satisfy our wants and our needs, but rather to reveal more about Him in our lives, where He is directing us on His narrow path and what He has called us to do to bring Him glory. He will also send us dreams to warn us of imminent danger and what we need to do to avoid such danger. This is to evoke faith in us, to believe all that He has shown us, and to act on His command. And this not only calls for faith, but it is also a faith builder. All right? Dreams from Alahayam are our teaching aids, so that when we go to His Word, we have clarification about what it is speaking to us directly to bring about a transformation in our lives. So when we have dreams from Alahayam, He is giving us dreams for a purpose. All right? Whether it is to help us build our faith, to help us know more about His Word, about Him, about things that we are doing that we're not supposed to do, or things that He wants us to do that we're not doing. This is His way of communicating with us. All right? So we will look at examples of these kinds of dreams, which are more symbolic in their nature, and He will give us interpretations of these dreams to help us to understand and to know what is to be our next step. And here are some examples of such dreams. So we have dreams of symbolisms where we don't necessarily understand the symbols that are in the dreams, but He does. And He will be the one to tell us, okay, this is symbolic of that. Go to the Word and I will show you why. All right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, Bara'ashayath, chapter 31, verse 7. And your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But Alahayam suffered him not to hurt me. Now this is talking about Yaakov when he was working for Laban and Laban was cheating him. All right? Let's drop down to verse 10. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-streaked, meaning streaked, speckled, marked with points, and gristled, meaning spotted. And the angel of Alahayam spoke unto me in a dream, saying, Yaakov. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift up now your eyes and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-streaked, speckled, and gristled. For I have seen all that Laban did unto you. I am Alahayam of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, and where you vowed a vow unto me. Now arise and get out from this land and return unto the land of your kindred. Now, without getting into the story that happened between Yaakov and Laban, what I'm showing you here is that Yaakov was being cheated, and it was time for him to return to the land that the Most High had promised Abraham and his father Yitzchak. And he appeared to him in a dream and said, Look, I see all that Laban is doing to you, right? But I am with you. And that's why I am causing your sheep and your goats and your cattle to multiply, and they're not doing so. All right? So he said to him, I want you now to return to the land of your kindred. Get out from his house. All right. Yaakov had both a symbolic dream and a prophetic dream combined together to reveal the heart of Alahayam for his future. Now, the part that was prophetic, that was a night vision, was when the angel of Alahayam appeared unto him. That converted it from being just merely a dream now to a night vision. All right. Alahayam saw that Laban was cheating Yaakov and his own daughters and worked against him on behalf of Yaakov, making him very wealthy in cattle, flocks, and herds. In a dream, Alahayam revealed to Yaakov what he witnessed Laban was doing, and told him that it was time for Yaakov to leave Laban's house to return to the land of his birth. Please note that the angel of Yahweh was Hamashiach incarnate, who revealed himself to Yaakov to instruct him on what he needed to do. Now, we're going to see later on that the angel of Yahweh or the angel of Alahayam can also mean another angel, an angel like that of one of the princes, okay? Because when Yahusab, who is Joseph, saw the angel of Alahayam, that was one of the princes, one of the chief angels, all right? And not Hamashiach. We'll look at that either in this study or in the next study, all right? This would have been an encouragement for Yaakov to get on the way and an encouragement for his wives to follow his instruction based on all that their father did to him and to them, and subsequently the instruction from Yahweh which remedied this situation. Okay, let's go to Bara'ashayah, the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 5. We're going to look at a second dream now. And Yahusab, this is Joseph, the son of Yaakov, dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said unto him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him. This is Yaakov, rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brethren bow down ourselves to you to the earth? So not even his father, this is Yaakov, believed him when he had his dream. Both of Yahusab's dreams were symbolic, and his father and his brothers understood their meanings. The second dream confirmed the first dream, which is typical of consecutive dreams given to us by Alahayam. Sometimes he gives us consecutive dreams in the same night, or he can give us consecutive dreams the following night or nights. But you will recognize that they're connected to the first dream that you've had because of the symbolisms. All right. For example, Yahusab dreamt about 11 sheaves. Now he's dreaming about 11 stars, plus the sun and the moon. So they understood that each sheaf was symbolic of one of the brethren, one of his brothers, whereas the sun and the moon were symbolic of his mother and his father. All right. They both were very similar in their symbolisms, and their meanings were identical to each other, except this time the second dream included his father and mother. The real issue here is that Rahal, his mother, died in childbirth before he had these dreams, and long before he became second in command to Pharaoh. So when would she have bowed down to him fulfilling this dream? So because of that, the fact that even Yaakov said, "Shall I and your mother and your brethren bow down ourselves to you to the earth?" His mother had passed away already. But Yaakov understood that the sun and the moon represented him and his wife Rachel, even though she was gone. She was giving birth to Mayam, who is Benjamin. Okay? So let's read on and see what happens here. This is the major difference between dreams and visions, as portions of the dream, called non-essentials, do not have to be fulfilled, as these parts only lend to the significance of the dream. Whereas the essential parts of a dream must come to pass. The essential parts of this dream reveal that Yahweh would rule over his brethren and even his father, shown by the sheaves and the stars paying him obeisance. This would also be true of his mother, if she was alive. So if his mother was alive, she too would have to bow down. She would have bowed down to him. Therefore, knowing that Yahweh was going to rule over his father's household was the essential part of these dreams, making Rachel's role in the dream non-essential, not necessary to be fulfilled, as all of the other essentials of Yahweh dreams were fulfilled. It was just to show us his family were going to bow down to him. And he had this dream when he was 17 years old. Okay? And he was already understanding that something significant is going to happen in his life. They understood it too. Who's going to make you ruler over us? Normally, it's the firstborn son that becomes the ruler after the father passes away. Most of the inheritance will go to him. But here, Yawasap, who was the second to last to be born, all right, claiming rulership over them. But they didn't understand. But eventually they did, though. Okay, let's move on now to Daniel chapter 2. That's the book of Daniel chapter 2, verse 3. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream. Now this is a Gentile. All right. And my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spoke the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, now the Chaldeans would be the wise men, all right? The thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. So King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and the dream was so significant it frightened him. But Alahayam, Yahweh, took the dream away. All right? He completely took it away. But the king was sufficiently disturbed to know that he had a dream, and it was a profound dream, but he just couldn't remember it. So here he is telling his wise men, the Chaldeans, tell me what the dream was and also its interpretation. Otherwise, I'm going to destroy you and your whole house, all your houses. So let's drop down now to verse 10. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter, meaning that can tell you your dream, king. Therefore, there is no king, lord, nor rule that asked such things at any musician or astrologer or Chaldean, meaning wise men. What he was asking them was impossible, because how can they know his dream if he did not first tell them what the dream was? That's what they were asking him. Tell us the dream and we'll give you the interpretation. He said, no, you tell me the dream and you also tell me the interpretation. All right, let's drop down to verse 20 of the same chapter. Then Yael answered and said, blessed be the name of Alahayam forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Now, when the word got to Yael that the king had put out a death warrant on the heads of all the wise men, him including, him and the three Oberai boys, young men included, Yael said, give me time and I will find out the dream and the interpretation for the king. So he went to Alahayam Yahweh in prayer, all right, to get the knowledge of this dream and the understanding as well. Let's read on verse 21. Let's read 20 again. Then I answered and said, blessed be the name of Alahayam forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He reveals the deep and secret things. That's what he does. He gives you the deep and secret things. He can also take it away. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. Let's drop down now to verse 27. Then Yael answered in the presence of the king, because by this time now, Alahayam Yahweh showed Yael the dream, and he also gave him the interpretation. All right? So Yael answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is Alahayam in heaven that reveals secrets and makes known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. So what Alahayam Yahweh had shown Nebuchadnezzar was about an end times, was concerning end times events. All right? End times events. It was prophetic. All right. Let's read on. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed, meaning he was sleeping and he was having these visions upon his bed. So this is a combination of both a dream and a night vision. Okay? Upon your bed are these. Verse 29. As for you, O king, your thoughts came into your mind upon your bed, what should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealed to you what shall come to pass. But as for me, the secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that you might know the thoughts of your heart. So the revelation came to Yael, not because he was anything special or because he had wisdom. It was Alahayam that gave it to Yael. Right? Because Nebuchadnezzar was part of this dream. He had a role in this dream. We know what that dream was when he saw the statue, head of gold, chest and arms of silver, torso. I think the legs, I think the hips and legs were of brass and the feet of iron. And then you have the toes of iron and clay. All right. This is what he saw. Okay, and the statue was terrifying. And this is when Alahayam gives us dreams and he gives us visions, all right? It is nothing slight. Not like how some people make their dreams and visions slight. Yes, I know sometimes you might have, a dream warning you about something or telling you about something. And it doesn't have to be this intense. But when he gives you something profound and prophetic, trust me, it will shake you to the core, just like it did with with Nebuchadnezzar and even Daniel. All right. Yahweh gave King Nebuchadnezzar a tremendous dream, then took it away from him because it was a miracle that was being performed to show how great he is in comparison to the Chaldeans and the astrologers and the magicians and the soothsayers. All right. Alahayam gave Nebuchadnezzar, a pagan Gentile, a dream, but only to reveal to us that he can give dreams and he can also take them away. He can give them to whomever he wants to give them to, but he can also take them away, only to return them and their interpretation to his selected persons. This is a power that only he has. Not the gods of nations or magicians, but only he has this power. Not even the devils have this power. When the interpretation of the dream was given to Daniel by Alahayam, he recognized it to have an end times fulfillment, not even close to his era. It was in fact a very pivotal dream regarding the evil empires due to arise after the Babylonian Empire set in the far distant future. And this dream is proving to be very informative and relevant for us today. So these evil empires to arise after the Babylonian Empire, but also continuing on in the distant future. And we today are seeing what we understand what Nebuchadnezzar had seen concerning those empires and even the one that is about to rise up today, the beast empire number 8. Sorry, number 7. All right? Beast empire. There's a 8th empire, but that one is going to be short-lived. Let's read on. Because of the magnitude of this dream, as it was delivered in a most mysterious way, it called for a very powerful revelation and interpretation. This type of dream, not only was it prophetic, but it was also historical, as it dictated empires rising and falling, all the way to the final empire in the last days. And so, when Nebuchadnezzar had that dream, Alahayam took it away because it was not for him to even remember it. He had to be told what the dream was by a servant, a prophet of Alahayam Yahweh, who is Daniel. So let's look at Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 4. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. So once again, he's sleeping, he's having another dream. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. So now he actually remembers the dream. Now he's telling his wise men, the astrologers, the soothsayers, the magicians, he's telling them the dream, but make, they can't give him an interpretation because Alahayam has withheld the interpretation of that dream. Remember, this dream came from him. He can withhold dreams. He can also withhold the interpretation. All right, verse 8. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the Rawak, meaning the spirit of the holy Alahayam. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the Rawak of the holy Alahayam is in you, and no secret troubles you. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen and the interpretation thereof. So now, because the king recognized that only Daniel has the ability to interpret these kinds of dreams, so he called on him. All right? And this dream, unlike the first dream, was a warning to Nebuchadnezzar. All right? And that warning was for him to give praise to only the Most High. He was taking all the praise for himself, that this kingdom that he reigned over, called the Babylonian kingdom, Babylonian empire, was all because of what he did. But Alahayam want him to know, no, 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 no. I give you that empire. And so you have to give me the credit that is due to me, the glory that is due to me. Otherwise, I'm going to turn you into a beast for 7 years. And we know how that story went. He remembered for the first little while to give praise to Alahayam. Then he started taking praise for himself. And immediately, he was turned into a beast for 7 years. In this second dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, he was able to remember the dream, but the interpretation was withheld from him and his wise men, proving that they were not that wise. It was Daniel who interpreted the dream according to the revelation given to him by Alahayam. Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged that Daniel had the Rawak of Alahayam in him. He had the spirit of Alahayam in him, contrary to his magicians and astrologers. This second dream had a personal interpretation made for King Nebuchadnezzar, and it was a dream that came to pass sooner rather than later, as compared to the first dream, which is still being fulfilled today. So that second dream was a personal dream for the king of Babylon. Even though we all dream, some dreams are remembered while many others are not. Dreams can play very significant roles in our lives as believers in Alahayam. They can be warnings to us about errors in which we are committing against him, similar to Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. Or they can help us to understand significant prophecies being played out in dreams, giving us the much needed revelation. Then there are dreams which are fragmented pieces of scenarios which really do not make any sense unless Roach HaQadash gives insight. Some dreams are revealed to us on a spiritual level, not meant to understand with our finite minds, and although we may not know it at that time, there may be times where we may experience a deja vu moment. Have you ever experienced that? Oh, I've been here before, or I've seen this before, or I've heard this before. And that deja vu feeling, meaning that you've experienced these things before, is because you've had it in a dream. Most likely the night before. But you did not remember the dream, but you are now feeling, hey, I've been here before. I've seen this before. I've heard this before. That's the awesomeness of the Most High. That has happened to me so many times. But it doesn't freak me out like it used to. No, it doesn't. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I did have a dream about this. This is not a coincidence, but rather reliving what we had already experienced in the spiritual realm. And then there are dreams given to us by the enemy. Satan and his minions can influence and even infiltrate our dreams. And we have to be able to discern when this occurs. We are to be spiritually grounded so that when these dreams come to us, we are able to quickly discern their evil source. You will find that today there are many people taking great pride in their dreams and not discerning their source. Judging from these dreams being contrary to the word of Alahayam proves that they are in fact false dreams being called prophecies uttered by people calling themselves prophets, prophetesses, watchmen, and even watchwomen. Do you know if a person calls themselves a watchman or a watchwoman, they're actually calling themselves a prophet, because only prophets call themselves a watchman or a watchwoman. Go back to the Bible. Who was the watchman? It was Yahazakaal, who is Ezekiel. He was the one who called himself a watchman. All right. So they will preface what they're about to say with the fact that I'm not a pastor or a prophet or this or that, and yet they call themselves a watchman. All right. Today, they are leading many people astray with not only their false dreams, but their false interpretations as well, which is the plan of the enemy. The enemy is using a great deal of these people to bring about the greatest deception there is. Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 25. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. You hear what the Most High said? All right. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yeah, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart. So whatever they feel in their heart, whatever they want to occur, they're the ones claiming that they're having dreams and visions, and they're all lies. All because of the deceit of their own hearts. Verse 27, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. So who do you think are leading these prophets, that were leading these prophets in our forefathers' days? Baal. Because they were prophesying lies, the deceit of their hearts, and drawing people away from Alahayam. Verse 28, the prophet that has a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is chaff to the wheat, said Yahweh? Is not my word like a fire? Said Yahweh. His word is like a fire. It will burn. It will burn the chaff and leave the wheat. And like a hammer that breaks the rocks in pieces. So his word is both like a fire and like a hammer. Okay. Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that steal my words, everyone from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that use their tongues and say, he said, meaning Alahayam, Yahweh said. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, said Yahweh, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies, and by their lightness, meaning their recklessness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, said Yahweh. So if this was happening way back in the days of our forefathers, what do you think is happening today? The very same thing, if not worse. Because many people are convinced that they are prophets and that their dreams and visions are from the Most High. But they're receiving dreams and visions, from their gods who is Jesus, Lord God, and whoever else. Ahaya, Yahaya, Yeshaya, They're receiving the dreams and visions from them. Let's go to Jeremiah again, chapter 29. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 8. For thus said Yahweh, Sabaoth, Yahweh of hosts, Alahayam of Yashrael, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you. So even in the midst of the 12 tribes of Yashrael, even in the midst of the southern kingdom, I believe this would have been the southern kingdom at this point of time. In the midst of the southern kingdom, there were false prophets and diviners. This is the reason why they were enslaved. Because of these false prophets. Because their people decided to follow the false prophets and worship Baal and whatever gods they put out there. Neither hearken to your dreams which you cause to be dreams. So let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which you cause to be dreamed. So what is he saying here? He's saying that don't hearken to the dreams that you are causing yourself to dream. And the reason why you're causing yourselves to dream these dreams is because the deceit of your hearts. And you're thinking about this rapture, 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 rapture. So when you go to sleep now, guess what you're going to dream about? A rapture. Oh, I've had a God dream. I've had a rapture dream. All utter nonsense. It's the desires of your heart that the devils are playing upon. And you can't tell these people anything because the first thing they'll say is, you're a mocker and a scoffer. That's what they say. Verse 9, for they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, said Yahweh. And this is the reason why. It's because they don't even know who the Most High is. They're still believing in God and Jesus Christ and Lord God. So what else can you expect? If they don't even know the name, the true name of the Most High, Heavenly Father, what else can they expect? What else can they receive? They're not going to receive anything from Alahayam Yahweh. All that they're going to receive will be from these same devils that they're worshiping. All right? We see that long ago, Alahayam warned our forefathers about dreamers and prophets that spoke a word as if from Alahayam, but those words did not come from him, neither their dreams. Today, we are hearing that many are dreaming dreams, and they are all assuming that their dreams are from the Most High, when they are not. Clearly, Alahayam does not lie. And if this was a common occurrence back in our forefathers' day, how much more will it be common in our day? Even worse now because the devils are living on the earth. They'll be kicked out of heaven. Especially, oh my goodness. Oh, I have it written here. Especially now that the fallen angels are cast down to the earth. Many people today treat Alahayam like a genie in a bottle. They speak the desires of their hearts, of their heart. Rub the bottle and voila. They think that's all they need to do. Oh, all I need to do is pray about a rapture and pray that the Father is going to give me a rapture dream. Then you go to sleep. Oh, praise the Most High. I got a rapture dream. And when you listen to the dream, it has nothing to do about a rapture. Oh, I dreamt that we were on a boat. It's the rapture boat. I dreamt we were in a car. It's the rapture car. I dreamt we were on a train. It's the rapture train. You see how ridiculous these people are? All right. But he is not at our disposal to be used in this frivolous way. He is sovereign, mighty, and ever powerful. And one day they will come face to face with him, and they will be holding their bellies. And let's look at the Baraya in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spoke unto you, saying, let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh Alahayam, meaning your Alahayam, singular, personal, proves you to know whether you love Yahweh Alahayam with all your heart and with all your soul. So he is saying here, if there's a prophet amongst you that is prophesying and it comes to pass, but they are drawing you away from me, right? You're not supposed to hearken unto them, even though it may come to pass. You don't think that the Most High would allow the devils to cause their agents, the false prophets, to say something prophetic or claim that it's prophetic and that it will come to pass? But yet it does not line up with the word of Alahayam and does not draw the people onto him, does not give him the glory. They're taking the glory for themselves. Look at me, I'm a prophet. I just prophesied this and it happened. They're drawing the people away from the Most High. But Alahayam is allowing this because he wants to see who truly loves him. Okay? That's why we got to know the word. You got to be in a close relationship with the Most High, because he will speak to your heart immediately and say, that word is not from me. Even though it came to pass, it's not from me. But if you are not in relationship with him and you see this thing happening, you'll be prone to believe that this person is a true prophet. And you'll start following them all the way to the lake of fire. Verse 4. You shall walk after Yahweh Alahayam and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. And you shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahweh Alahayam, who brought you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you out of the way which Yahweh Alahayam commanded you to walk in. So shall you put the evil away from the midst of you. All right. So, back in our forefathers' day, those false prophets were stoned to death because their plan, because they're agents of the enemy, is to draw people away from Alahayam Yahweh and to snip that head off that serpent. They were put to death before they were able to poison other people in the camp. But today we don't have that. But we can walk away from people, though. People that speaking lies in our ears. And it sounds good because your flesh is being massaged now. All right? Your flesh is being massaged. So you're like, oh, wow, this feels good. This sounds good to my ears. This got to be from the Most High. But when you really look at it close up with a spiritual magnifying glass, you realize it's all rotten. It's rottenness to the soul. You got to know the word. When you know the word, you can't unknow the word. When you know the truth, then the lies that the enemy will come to bring before us, we will recognize them as lies. The only way in which we can truly determine whether a dream is from Alahayam or not is by first praying for its interpretation. But that's if you're in a relationship with him, though, because the devil can give you interpretation too, especially if the dream is from him. Next, that dream must line up with scripture to see whether the substance of the dream fits with the word of Alahayam, whether knowledge is gained in order to increase our faith and understanding of Alahayam. Roach HaQadash will always lead us to his word as a way to confirm his interpretation of the dream. This is not speaking about the symbolisms in the dream, although those too can be confirmed by scriptures, but rather the substance of the dream. Roach HaQadash wants us to understand his way of communicating with us via our dreams, and so he will not make it complex. The complexities come when we misinterpret or try to make our dreams mean something in particular when they don't. Dreams from Alahayam are faith builders. They are also sent to warn us in order to bring about a change in the direction we had veered towards. Dreams that do not line up with the word of Alahayam will draw a person away. And they are tools used by the enemy to bring deception and even delusion. And all this we are witnessing today amongst the Christians waiting for their rapture. This is a perfect example of false dreams with false interpretations, false confirmations, and false prophets, all working for the enemy and against Alahayam Yahweh. And you know what will happen? He will allow them to continue on with those false dreams and visions, right? And believing a lie, because a lot of them cannot believe anything else because their souls are in the hands of the devils, right? But for the ones who belong to Alahayam Yahweh, he will tell you, this is not of me. Stay away. So that's the ending of this part 1. Please stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to conclude this. Looking at the dreams, we're going to look at night visions and compare them to dreams with symbolisms. Although we looked at dreams with symbolisms, and also they were called night visions, all right? Because you can have a combination of the two in one go, all right? Alahayam can do whatever he wants to do, and however he wants to present his word to us. Okay? So let's end with the blessing for Yashwa'al, taken from the Ba Madabar, chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. And that is Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. Yabarakak Yahweh wa Yashamarak. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. Ya'ar Yahweh panayo alayak wa yahanak. May Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you and have favor upon you. Yasha'ar Yahweh panayo alayak wa yashamlak. Shalawam. May Yahweh lift up his face upon you and give you peace. And now we're going to recite the blessing for the command for Yashwa'al, taken from the Barayam, chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. That's Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Now, this is the command that he has given to us, that when we lie down, when we get up, when we come in, when we go out and when we come in, that we are to recite this command. Okay? Shama o Yashwa'al, Yahweh Alahayana, Yahweh Achad, wa Achabath Av, Yahweh Alahayak, Bakal Babak, wa Bakal Napashat, wa Bakal Ma'adak. Hear, O Yashwa'al, Yahweh our Alahayam is one Yahweh, and you shall love Yahweh your Alahayam with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And with that, I will say, Shalawam, Shalawam, all praises to the Most High, Abba Yah.